What happens when a decorated war hero faces her hardest battle not in Iraq, but in the quiet halls of a Colorado Army hotel? Haley Brennan bears burn scars from dragging a comrade out of a flaming Humvee in Ramadi. But the deepest wounds aren't visible. Mocked for her appearance, she stays silent. Until one day, a witness speaks, and everything begins to change. Welcome to Thankful Tales. Together we make their courage live beyond memory. The IHG Army Hotels at Fort Carson, Colorado. Hum with quiet purpose. Polished tile hallways gleam under fluorescent lights, reflecting order and calm. The faint scent of floor cleaner mingles with the soft whir of air conditioning, creating a sanctuary amid the relentless rhythm of military life. Faded photographs of soldiers line the walls, their frames worn by time, whispering tales of loyalty and sacrifice. Soft light spills through windows, framing the distant Rockies, offering a fleeting sense of peace, but not enough to quiet the storms within. Haley Brennan, 35, moves through these halls with a soldier's precision, pushing her cleaning cart. Long sleeves hide scars, jagged burns from wrist to shoulder, etched by an IED explosion in Ramadi, Iraq, 2006. She dragged a comrade from a burning Humvee, flames licking her skin. Her brown hair, tied back tight, sways as she works. She speaks little, nodding to colleagues. But her rooms are spotless towels folded crisp, beds made taut. It's her way of carving out peace amid memories that refuse to fade. It's a Tuesday morning, and Haley's wiping down the second-floor hallway. 3 construction contractors, here to fix the lodge, spill out of the break room. Their boots thud heavy, laughter loud and careless. The biggest one, bald and smirking, calls out, "Hey, Scar Girl, what's with your arm?" Fall into a fryer, another laughs, sharp and cruel, or tried saving some fries and lost. The words slice through the air. Sarah, the young receptionist, freezes behind the front desk. Haley grips her cart, lips pressed thin, eyes flashing like a dam holding back a flood. Ramadi rushes back smoke, screams, the weight of a dying friend. It's vivid, suffocating. Sarah steps forward, voice shaky but firm. "That's enough. She's our co-worker, not your punchline." The men sneer but back off, their laughter fading. Haley exhales, her gaze drifting to the Rockies, hazy in the distance. The storm inside doesn't settle, but she pushes the cart forward, steps heavy. In the break room, Ray Douglas, a retired Marine officer, watches silently, his calloused hands tighten around a coffee mug, eyes locked on Haley. Something in her face stirs a memory. Ramadi, a battlefield, a moment unclaimed. Back at the desk, Sarah whispers to Jim, the janitor, "I don't know what she's been through, but nobody deserves that." Jim nods, his eyes worried, leaning on his broom. Daniel, the hotel manager, stands nearby, watching it all. He wants to step in, but he knows Haley doesn't need saving. She's a veteran, forged in fire, used to facing battles alone. Still, the harassment leaves the hallway heavy, like a cold wind slipping through a cracked window. Haley keeps working, her eyes tired, but steady. She doesn't speak, doesn't falter. But her silence carries weight. Sarah's defiance, Ray's quiet recognition, Jim's concern, they ripple outward, unnoticed but real. The air feels charged, like something's shifting. Haley's courage, woven into her every step, her every folded towel, isn't loud. It's quiet, stubborn, unbreakable. And though the world may not see it yet, those who share these halls are starting to. Change is coming, carried on the strength of a woman who's already survived the worst. The second-floor hallway of IHG Army Hotels feels heavy today, like the scent of floor cleaner can't mask the cruelty of yesterday's taunts. The soft hum of the air conditioner fades under the coarse laughter of 3 construction contractors, taking a break from fixing the lodge. Haley Brennan pushes her cleaning cart, her grip tight on the mop handle, trying to drown out their words from before. But the men don't let up. Their eyes lock onto her, their voices echoing through the hall. "Hey, Scar Girl, you playing hero today, the bald?" Burly one sneers, smirking, or just sticking to floors and hiding those burns. Another laughs, loud and mean. Loud. She thinks she's Rambo, but all she's got is scars. Their laughter cuts like a blade. A passing soldier pauses, his eyes narrowing, but he says nothing and moves on. Haley's knuckles whiten on the mop. Ramadi flashes back, smoke, screams, the weight of chaos. It's sharp, suffocating. Her lips press tight. Her gaze drifts to the window. The Rockies faint in the distance. The storm inside her churns, unrelenting. Sarah, the young receptionist, stands behind the desk, fists clenched. "That's enough," she shouts, her voice shaky but fierce. "She's our co-worker." "Not your joke." The men scoff. The bald one fires back. "Oh," the little lady speaks. "What? You a hero in your dreams?" Haley looks up, her eyes glinting, holding back a tidal wave of emotion. She wants to speak, to tell them about Ramadi, about the teammate she couldn't save. But she stays silent, like always. In the break room, Ray Douglas, a retired Marine officer, watches quietly. His calloused hands grip his coffee mug, his eyes fixed on Haley. He's known her since her first day here, recognized her face from the inferno of Ramadi, when she pulled him from a burning Humvee. He stayed silent, afraid to reopen her wounds. But now, hearing the taunts, seeing Sarah stand up, those memories stir him. He rises, his steps slow but steady, his deep voice cutting through. "You don't know who you're talking to." The hallway falls silent. Sarah stops typing, eyes wide. Jim, the janitor, leans on his broom, tense. Ray stares down the contractors. "Ramadi, 2006, Combat Outpost Falcon. An IED blew up. I was trapped in flames, and Haley ran in, dragged me out, patched me up under enemy fire. Without her, I wouldn't be here." He turns to Haley, his voice softening. "I've been quiet too long. Today, I make it right." The contractors exchange glances, their bravado faltering. The bald one mutters, "We didn't know," and the three slink away, their boots fading down the hall. Haley stands still clutching the mop, her eyes shimmering. She nods faintly at Ray, saying nothing. But a small spark flickers in her, like someone finally heard her silent cry. Sarah whispers to Jim, "I had no idea Haley went through that." Jim nods. "She's always been private. But now I get it." Ray returns to the break room, his gaze lingering on Haley, seeing Ramadi in her steady stride. Haley pushes her cart, her steps lighter, as if a weight has lifted. The hallway, once her refuge from the past, now feels like a stage where her quiet courage is starting to shine. She's not hiding anymore, and those who share this space, they're beginning to see her. Truly, for the hero she's always been. The air stills after the contractors leave, the hum of the air conditioner whispering like a quiet comfort. Haley Brennan stands frozen, gripping her mop, her eyes shimmering as she holds back a wave of emotion. Sarah, the receptionist, steps closer, her voice trembling. "Haley, I had no idea what you've been through. You're a hero." Jim, the janitor, leans on his broom and nods. "You always keep things perfect, but now I see why you're so private." Haley's lips press tight, her gaze flickering between surprise and unease. "I just did my job," she says softly. But the cloth in her hand twists, crumpled, like it's holding a painful memory in her mind. A teammate's face from Ramadi surfaces, his eyes wide with fear, not from the flames, but from her powerlessness to save him. She takes a deep breath, her eyes drifting to the window. The Rockies faint in the distance. Word of Haley spreads through the hotel. An older veteran, his silver hair peeking from an old army jacket, approaches. "Ramadi, 2006, right? I was in Fallujah." "04, we get each other." He shakes her hand, his eyes grateful. A female veteran, once a radar technician, whispers, "You're an inspiration." "Brennan," Haley nods, her eyes glistening. a warmth spreading inside her. She's not used to attention, but for the first time, she feels she belongs. From the break room, Ray Douglas watches silently. He's recognized Haley since day one but stayed quiet, afraid to stir her pain. Sarah, beside him, murmurs to Jim. I thought she was just reserved. Now I understand. Ray steps forward, his voice low. I've been silent too long. Today, I couldn't let her be insulted again. He recounts Ramadi, when Haley ran through fire, pulled him from a burning Humvee, and bandaged him under enemy fire. She never brags. But she's a hero, he says, his eyes red. Daniel, the hotel manager, takes action. He organizes a small ceremony in the lobby, where a wall of honor displays photos and stories of veterans. A picture of Haley, in her Ramadi uniform, is hung, captioned Haley Brennan, combat medic, silent hero. A crowd gathers staff, veterans, military families clapping softly. A boy, the son of a soldier, runs up, pointing at the photo. Are you a superhero? Haley kneels, smiling. No, just a soldier doing her best. Haley stands before the wall, clutching her cloth, her eyes fixed on the photo. Her teammate's face appears not in smoke, but his gaze before he's slipped away forever. She whispers his name, as if he's beside her. Sarah and Jim stand nearby, their eyes shining with pride. Ray, from the corner, nods, his eyes wet but silent. Veterans pat each other's shoulders, their looks conveying respect without words. Haley returns to work, pushing her cart through the hallway. Her steps are lighter, her eyes brighter, like a weight has lifted. She no longer hides her scars or fears her past. The IHG Army Hotels, once her refuge, is now a place where her quiet courage shines. The community has risen to remind her she's never alone. The hallway, once heavy with taunts, now carries the echo of honor. Haley moves forward, not as a shadow of Ramadi, but as a beacon of resilience. Her story etched into these walls, her strength seen by those who share this space. Haley Brennan's quiet courage seems to light up the hallway. She pushes her cleaning cart, steps light, eyes brighter. The scars from Ramadi, etched by that 2006 IED blast, no longer hide under long sleeves. Not out of pride, but because she doesn't need to escape her past anymore. The IHG Army Hotels, once her haven for peace, now feels like a place where she guides others through their darkness. Sarah, the receptionist, leaves a hot coffee on the counter daily, a note tucked beside it. You're our pride. Haley, Jim, the janitor, pauses his sweeping to chat. You make this base mean something. Brennan, veterans from nearby posts visit, not to share war stories, but to find comfort in Haley's presence. A young vet, hands trembling around his coffee, whispers, Afghanistan. The nightmares won't let go. Haley sits, her voice soft. I get it. I've been there. She hands him a card for a PTSD support group. His eyes light up. Thank you. I didn't think anyone would understand. Haley decides to do more. She pitches an idea to Daniel, the hotel manager, a small reading nook in the break room where veterans can share anonymous stories on folded scraps of paper. Sarah volunteers to shelve books. Jim hauls in chairs. And soon, veterans leave notes about war, loss, hope. One reads, I was in Iraq. You remind me we're not alone. Haley reads it, eyes glistening, feeling her lost teammates near her. Ray Douglas, who stood up for her, becomes a regular. One afternoon, they sit by the window, the Rockies hazy in the distance. Sharing eases the weight, Ray says, eyes red. You did that for us all. Haley nods. I was silent too long. Now I want them remembered. She speaks of a teammate in Ramadi, his eyes before he slipped away. Ray listens, silent, seeing the battlefield in her words. A week later, one of the contractors who mocked her leaves an envelope on the counter, $50 and a note. I was wrong. Thank you. Haley folds it, eyes misty. Outside, a mural appears on the hotel wall, a combat medic kneeling by a stretcher. Bold white words. We serve in silence until remembered. Haley stands before it, clutching her cloth, feeling her teammates beside her, sharing this moment. One evening, Haley sits in the reading nook, dim light falling on the shared notes. Distant helicopter hums blend with the quiet Rockies. She no longer walks these halls to hide from her past, but to guide others through theirs. She smiles, knowing her silence has spoken, her quiet courage igniting a community. Have you seen quiet courage like this? A veteran? A neighbor? Maybe even you? There's something powerful in those unspoken acts of strength. They don't shout for attention, but they change lives. Think about the Haleys in your world, the ones who carry heavy pasts, yet lift others up. Their stories remind us we're not alone, that even in our darkest moments, there's light to be found. So, what's your story? Maybe it's a quiet hero you've met, or a time you pushed through your own shadows. Share it with us in the comments, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Life can weigh heavy sometimes, but we're here, ready to lift you up when you need it most. Let's keep these stories alive, together.